All right, I'm getting the word that we are now live. Thank you for everybody that is here in person. Thank you for everybody that's here on the internet. If you're not sure who you're looking at, hi. My name is JC Horvath. I am your new chairman. I do have Michael Niketa sitting next to me. I don't know if you can see him on camera. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
there.
You can. We're calling him deputy chair. I'll explain more later. And because I am a panelist, that's been my primary purpose in Anime Detour before today, I'm doing that as my introductory. So this will be a little bit different. Obviously, staff meetings are usually a lot more visiting with various departments about what's going on. But as this is the brand new cycle, this is going to be much more of a general presentation and my attempt to cover a lot of things that everyone on staff should know, but I highly suspect that we don't. I didn't know all of them, so that is what I'm going to be doing today. So again, meet your new chairman. Hi. So I have been an attendee. My first detour that I went to was back in 2010 when I moved to Minnesota from Texas. A very good decision. First panel I ever ran was also at Detour. That was 2013, called Anime by Numbers. I don't know if you've been. It's very silly. Yeah. And I have run it every year since, including 2021 when we didn't have a live convention. I've been programming staff since later on that year of the 2014 cycle. I overheard a conversation at my local university club from Joe Thompson, who basically founded the programming department, that she needed someone to answer emails. I was like, oh, I could probably do that. And here I am. Many of you know this pattern. Yeah. Subhead since 2017, and programming had the last 2 cycles, and now I'm your chairman. Niketa, do you want to say a few words?
I'm Michael Niketa. I've been going to Detour since 2004, year 1. I volunteered year 1 because Lauren Ganon desperately ran up to me and asked me if I wanted some Pocky, if I helped her out with some stuff. And I answered a few too many questions, in that case the first one being, sure, I'll do that. I've been on staff officially since 2006, where I joined both security and registration at the same time, because again, I answered a few too many questions of, sure, I have some time before the convention, I can help registration do some paperwork filing. 2016, I became the head of the reservations hotel department, and then 2019, I became the head of vice chair, division head at the time. So I've been through a lot of different departments at the convention. I've not had as much panel experience as JC. I have ran a couple panels at conventions before, but only a few. So I'm mostly here to back up JC whenever he's not immediately available with things, or to serve as an extra piece of advice to him. He's still the final word on everything here, but if you do need help, by all means, you can come to me if it's something minor, or if it's something you need an immediate answer for. Come see me, and we can try and get something sorted out here for you. Yeah. I'm also hopefully going to be trying to help coordinate everybody just to get to know each other more. I know just in years past, it's been hard sometimes for staff just to get to know other staff. So I'm going to be working to try and get people to just talk to each other. We're all part of the same team here. We all want to be here. That's why we're here. So if we don't like being here, there's a problem. We got to work on that and make sure people just enjoy the convention again, even when we are working 60 hours or more in a weekend for it.
Yeah, and just a brief word, because deputy chair is a thing we've never had before. The idea is basically he's vice chair, he's on the chair team, like most of the other vice chairs. But if for some reason I cannot be chairman for a while, if I, become horribly sick or am otherwise indisposed, Niketa steps in, and we already know that. He's already ready to do that, so that's kind of the idea. So, what is my top priority as your fearless leader? The most important thing, I think we have a fantastic staff. I think we have many departments that know what they're doing already and don't need me to tell them how to do it. I think we need every member of our staff to feel respected and that the work they do is valued. I think that we have kept up an excellent show in front of the scenes. I think we've provided an incredible attendee experience every year I've been part of it, every year that it's run. And I think the biggest need that we have as an organization right now is to make sure we're doing better with each other, and we're having a good time, and we want to keep doing it. Because we're awesome. I love you all. I don't want to lose any of you, so I want to make sure that you're happy to be here.
And just on that point, the company I work for, our motto is excellence throughout by commitment from within, which just basically says, if you all like being here and enjoy being here, you're going to naturally do a better job. If you don't like what you're doing, you're going to start slacking off and whatnot and such. So again, with our top priority here, we just want you to feel like you want to be here.
And my primary tool that I'm going to talk a lot about today, the thing that I think I can do, and is the thing I'm trying to do most as chairman, is provide and improve lines of communication. I think that can use improvement, is all I will say, from years past, and I think that's the biggest thing that's going to ease tensions. If everyone knows what's expected of them and when, things go a whole lot smoother. We have a whole year to plan this thing, let's make it seem like it. So, very briefly, this is your very base information about the organization you are already a part of. You've probably signed some things, at least online, that said you read this and understood it and agreed to it. So let's make sure you do. Anime Twin Cities and Anime Detour. They are distinct legal entities. You do work for both. If you're Anime Detour staff, you are automatically a member of Anime Twin Cities. So Anime Twin Cities is the nonprofit organization. A lot of people know the call 501c3 in tax law. If you don't, that's fine. You don't need to. But yeah, so Anime Twin Cities is the parent organization, and Anime Detour is an event put on by ATC. We are a distinct nonprofit organization as well. We're also a branch of ATC, is the official term for us in the founding documents that nobody ever reads, but I read them this morning. So. The board of ATC freely appoints the chairman of Detour. So they did. They appointed me. They can remove me anytime they want to. I do not have a term. I do not have a guarantee of as long as I have good behavior, I'm here. If they don't like me, they can get rid of me tomorrow. That is how this works. No, we are all at will, so that's how it goes. For the most part, well, I'll get there in a second. ATC also determines the bylaws. So if you are looking at the actual bylaws of the organization, ATC, or the ones applicable most specifically to Detour staff, that is a board issue. If you have suggestions for changes to those, you need to bring them to the board. Board meetings are the second Tuesday of every month. So that's where to go with that kind of idea. The chairman then oversees the actual convention operations and all the staff below chairman. So I do have final say over who my vice chairs are and department heads and really everybody, though, I think most of the time I'm not paying that much attention to who's within a department unless there's a reason for me to do so.
We don't want to be micromanaging anything if we can help it. So.
Little more on that. So within Detour itself, then, there's the chairman. I used the term assistant because we were still discussing what to call Mike
We
at
went
the
through
time.
like 4 different titles before we got here in the last month.
It might change again. We're going to try not to be safety department, now known as operations, and change our name quite so often. But yeah, we might still play around with the titles. I wanted to keep using the term vice chairs because I think that's the one most people know at this point. However, I do hate the term executive team. It just rubs me the wrong way. Executive is not a connotatively good word for me. So I'm throwing that out and renaming a lot of things. The chair team, it's the same thing. You don't actually have to worry about it. If you think I'm being silly right now, that's fine. But I'm going to refer to it as the chair team. There have previously been 4 vice chairs, or before that we called them 4 division heads. And right now it's just Niketa and I. We are seeking more vice chairs, but I don't know specifically that we're going to do 4, I don't know if it's 4 plus Niketa or 4 including Niketa or possibly a different number altogether. I'm going to see who applies, and I'm going to see what makes sense once we get people in and what we think. Do we feel like we can do the job with what we have? There probably will be some sense of divisions as far as certain departments report to certain member, one vice chair specifically, which is something we've done in the past. But I do want it to be a little more fluid. So if you like your vice chair, your division head, your et cetera, and you prefer to work one-on-one with them and that works well for you, cool. Go to them, do it that way. If you don't love that, or you're having some trouble in the communications, whatever, you can come to me, you can come to Niketa, you can come to the chairman at Anime Detour email. That goes to the entire chair team. I'll repeat this a few times, so if you didn't get it down, you will later. That comes to the entire chair team. Pretty much anything that is really an issue we got to sort out, we're going to talk about as the chair team anyway. If it's obviously a simple thing and the one-on-one can solve it, then great. But anything more complicated than that, we're going to discuss anyway. So pick who you would like to talk to, and we will get back to you.
And if it's a simple thing like you just need information from another department, by all means go to that department. You don't need to go through us to reach other departments.
God, yes.
I will say, however, if it is something that is a choice of what has been asked in the past and I feel has supported communication, is to always make sure that the chair team is aware of what's going on, even if they're not supporting you in the communication.
Yeah, I mean,
CC them on the email.
yeah, just CC us, but yeah, you don't need us
Yeah.
to reach out to another department for you.
Yeah, I think it bears saying a little bit more about this. The comment from the crowd, if you didn't pick it up on stream, is that if you're doing something with another department and you work something out, it would be a good idea to CC the executive team so we know it was sorted out. Chair team, good lord. All right, and yeah. And I would say certainly if it's something new or something, yeah, I mean something surprising, yes. If it's ordinary, this is something the two departments collaborate on every single year, just do it. Just get it done. I'm going to show something a little later that I think will be exciting to people to help make that easier. But yeah, if it's nothing shocking, just do your job. And if it is, let us know. Next level is the department heads. I think people understand department heads pretty well. But I do want to say a little bit more about it just because there are a number of open department head positions, and I think it's worth noting what a department head is expected to do. You are the middle managers, which is the most exciting term there is in this world. But it's a very important role because you have to manage people, you have staff on your department, and it's important that you keep good relationships with them, that you have communication, that when we have something that says, hey, we need to see where are all staff on this particular thing, you can be like, oh, did all of my staff respond, and kick them if they didn't. So you have to be able to do that and not make them too angry. You also have to go up to the chair team and talk to us and make sure that we know what you're doing and if we have things that you need to be doing, that you know what they are. And of course, we just mentioned communicating with other departments. So you're going down, you're going up, you're going sideways. You have to be able to talk to a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. And then, of course, the thing everybody thinks about, which is just ensuring the actual tasks of the department are done. Again, this is not typically the one that we have any issues with. People are very aware of what their departments do and very good at doing that work. But I did want to mention, it's a communication job. I'm using that word way too many times today. I'm sorry, but
It's important.
it's a theme.
There have been certain department heads over the years who've tried to do too much on their own. Use subheads, which is our next step in here.
Yes.
You don't have to do everything as the department head. Use your staff. Yes.
Yeah. And then yes, within each department, there are subheads and individual staff, and subheads are completely up to the department head themselves. You don't really need approval from the chair team to make somebody a department head. Again, letting us know is a good idea. But yeah, it's pretty much up to within the department, and there's kind of two different kinds of subheads. We probably don't need different names because that would just confuse things more. But some subheads are very task specific. So I will give my own example, and I know I can pick on her because she's my wife. I was the programming head last year. Jessie Silver is a subhead because she completely runs the AMV contest on her own. Any AMV contest questions go to her. I can't answer them, even though I'm the department head, or was the department head. So that's a task-specific department head. Other subheads are just sort of second in command. When something comes into the department, if I can't handle it, my subhead can, or whatever. They can sort of jump in and be sought out for general questions. So both of these are just fine. And if you come up with some third reason to have a subhead, cool. Maybe talk to me about it, but it's probably cool. The staffing department, sorry, this one's kind of small on the text. I wanted to talk about them specifically because I did not know we had this department. It was started in the last couple of years. I'm not even totally sure. Okay. It's a pretty important concept and something that I want to be a real thing this year. We currently have 0 people in it, so we do need to build it. But if this sounds like something you would be interested in doing, please let me know. So part of it is onboarding new staff members. I think one of the wonderful things about where we are today is that we can do meetings on YouTube and most things over email, and we have Eventney for staff applications, and a lot of this gets managed sort of automatically, but that also can kind of kill the like, hey, I'm new here, I don't know what I'm doing, can I talk to somebody? I think that's really important, so that's one of their chief jobs, is to onboard new members, help them find a home department, and I will digress a little bit to mention that because I didn't make a slide. I really want that to be a concept too, is that you have a home department where, you know, you are accounted for, your department head knows you're in that department, and like I was saying before, can make sure that you're being taken care of as a member of staff. However, there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking tasks on in other departments. I think that can be fun to go, you know, help out with other things. I know many departments do not always have the number of staff that they would want for every task they need to do, and sometimes you're like, well, I don't want to be on that department, but yeah, I can do that thing. So that is encouraged. Please do that. Please have more.
Like I said, when I came on starting with what was then security, but security only does work at the convention, so I did registration work prior to the convention because the times don't really conflict. There's a lot of departments where they do work at most are work focused at certain times of the year, so you can kind of do a couple different jobs, that way you can stay fully engaged throughout everything without necessarily breaking yourself over the back for it.
So yeah, besides that, staffing also does some kind of HR stuff. So assist with training when we do have new tools and people need to know how to use them. That's something that they will do. I have to make this aside because Eventney is something that I have not gotten good at. It can be frustrating if you don't know how to use it. And I was messing around with it this morning going, why is it that when I log into this, I can't get to anything useful? I know there are useful things, I've seen them, I can't find them. So, key thing, there's a button at the top that says Organize. Click that and click the event. Right now you'll still probably only have 2024, but 2025 will exist very soon. Then click 2025 in the menu that drops down there, and then you have a menu on the left side of the screen that is very useful, that has all of the cool stuff you can do. So it is slightly hard to get there, but once you get there, you'll actually be like, oh, this thing is useful, cool. Handle HR-related issues when there are some interpersonal conflicts, at least at the low level. Staffing can handle that. Obviously, if it goes beyond that, then it might have to go higher up. Collaborate with the ATC Special Events Coordinator. Once upon a time, ATC did a bunch of stuff that wasn't Detour. And I think there are hopes that now that the pandemic is quieter, more of that's going to happen again. So that is part of what the Special Events Coordinator will be doing. Ask the board if you want more details. I am not on the board. I should have clarified that. The chairman is not on the board, cannot be on the board. And it's not a bylaw right now, but I think it's worth mentioning because vice chair positions are open. As long as I am chairman, vice chairs can also not be on the board. I think that's an unacceptable conflict. So that's going to be my rule. I lost my place. Okay. Staffing will also help make sure that benefits like staff badges and hotel room stuff is taken care of. Again, making sure people are not falling through the cracks. No, I skipped that one. And then, yeah, I already kind of said intra-staff conflicts. The interesting thing about the staffing department, this is why I'm mentioning them specifically, or part of why. The staffing department will still primarily report to me with, you know, anything that's the department head level or below. But under certain circumstances, if you're complaining about me, which is a valid thing, you're allowed to do that, then the staffing department should not bring that to me. They'll bring that to the board directly because, as we already established, the board decides whether I keep my job or not. So they would hear any complaints against me or other members of the chair team. getting a little bit into the section of I didn't know what order to put this in. But this is an important thing for all staff to understand about, again, our nonprofit status. I don't think we've had any issues with this in the past, but as we get bigger and bigger and we have more things coming into our convention and more people that are getting paid for their work, I want to make sure we understand how that works. The way our nonprofit is currently composed, no one can receive payment as staff. Not every 501c3 is that way, but ours is. It is in our founding documents. We would have to change a bunch of stuff to change that. So we can be reimbursed for expenses. We should be. Don't spend your own money. And we can receive our benefits like we do, like badges, like Anime Detour merchandise. I think I see some other water bottles here today too. But we cannot receive an appearance fee, a commission, or some other way. There's a lot of terms for ways to get paid. You cannot get an actual paycheck or payment for doing work if you are a member of staff. So if you are a department that does do that, which again, more and more departments are departments that pay people appearance fees or specific payment for a task, make sure you are not doing that for any staff members. They cannot double as both paid people and staff. Talk to me more if there's a situation and you're like, wait, but it would make sense to hire them, so what do we do? Talk to me. Or the chair team. Voting rights. We did discuss this slightly as people were coming in, obviously not on the internet. But there are two ways to get voting rights. The voting rights are for the board. The only positions that are voted on are board positions. The chair team is not. As I said before, the board appoints me, I pick the other vice chairs, etc. The board positions are open once per year. The positions are actually all 2-year terms, but it's half and half. And to have voting rights, you must attend either 60% of all staff meetings, this is a staff meeting, or 60% of all board meetings. Like I said before, that's the second Tuesday of the month. So you can get credit for being here in person, or you can get credit for watching the live stream. If you're on YouTube right now, congratulations, you're attending. You cannot get credit if you watch the video after the fact. Obviously, I'm not telling you not to do that, but we do have to make sure that you're attending in some meaningful way, and that's the way that we're currently set up. So apologies for the fact that, obviously life happens, and this is not a great time for everybody. Do what you can. So, how do you sign in and get credit? You scan this beautiful QR code, or if for some reason...
Scan the one up here.
I don't know if you want to scan it off the screen, scan it off the clipboard. People watching on YouTube hopefully can still get that in the screen within a screen.
Well, they can click on
Yeah.
The link.
And yes, if you can't get the QR code to work, we do have a very good tiny URL. Who's responsible for that one? Christina, good job. tinyurl.com/staffdemonkitty, our unofficial mascot, which I don't know if we have anything that looks like them right now, but
Yeah.
okay. Oh yes, I did want to say as well, I put it in my email, but I am hoping to make staff meetings something that is more important and also feels more like a valuable use of your time. I know that, again, like I just said, life happens, not everybody can make things, some people live far away, but if we can get in the habit of departments figuring out at least who can be their representative and make staff meetings and make sure that they know what their department business is. I want to get back to the days when we actually talk about things at staff meetings and, make meaningful decisions, or at least make sure that we know meaningful decisions need to be made. I want to hear from people. I don't like the idea of every meeting just being me yakking for an hour, which I know that's exactly what this one is, but...
No, I'm yakking in there too, breaking it up.
Thank you. All right, communication, again, the theme comes back. How do we talk to each other? We have an email and we have a Discord. So the primary tool for pre-con communication should be email. If you want somebody to respond to something, if you feel that they need to respond to something, send them an email. That is our official, what you need to be watching if you're a department head especially, but if you're anybody on staff that answers emails, and that's one of the tasks that you do, you are expected to be paying attention, to be monitoring, and responding in a timely manner. I'm not going to set an exact number of days, because I feel like that varies based on what your department is and what time of year it is. But please make sure that someone in your department knows they need to be checking and is regularly checking for email. Do not put anything important somewhere else and think that someone is responsible for responding to it. They are not. If something is important, put it in an email. If you want an @animedetour.com email, please tell the ATC board, that's their email, atcboard@animedetour.com. At least until we have a permanent IT person, they're handling it, so they can get you one. There may have previously been a rule that you had to be at least a subhead to get one. I'm getting rid of that rule. If you want one, get one. Yeah.
I know why that rule was initially in place.
Yeah.
It was because we were just trialing the Anime Detour email. So pushing forward, if it's our main, it makes sense that it would count.
Yeah. So the comment was that at one point, the animedetour.com email was a trial. I think we are well past that. So yes, since we do want this to be the primary tool, again, I'm not going to require anybody to use it. If you would prefer to continue to use your personal email, you can. I don't know why you would. I have, God, how many emails do I have? Like 9, literally. And I need 9 different ones because I have a lot of different things I do, and I don't want to get confused about what I need to look at. The Discord is kind of a mess. It will be reorganized in July. That is going to be one of my primary projects for the next month, is to sort it out. I can't tell you everything that I will do to it at this point, but I do want to make sure it is a useful tool, but not relied upon the same way that email is. So first and foremost, I'm going to divide up the various channels into banter and no banter. I think that's fairly self-explanatory, but in case not, okay, I'm seeing a shaking head. So in a banter channel, you can chat away. You can post memes, you can have fun, you can, enjoy each other and like the conversation. Nothing of sort of substance in the sense of someone needs to know about this to run the convention should happen in a banter channel. If you want to talk about something of substance in a banter channel and then put it somewhere else when you've finished your conversation, that's cool. But again, don't expect anybody to read a banter channel. It is for having fun, getting together, or talking about things and kind of brainstorming them before you put together an actual proposal. The no banter channels will be if there is anything of more substance. Again, these will probably be very quiet most of the year, but one I'm hoping will be a little more used. I know I'm going to make a help wanted channel. So if you are a department going, we really could use a couple more people on this specific task, put together something that's a little more explanatory and say, we could use help with this. And if you are a regular staffer, or whatever you are, and you occasionally want to go on the Discord and check the help wanted to see if there is something that you wouldn't mind helping out with. I think that's more useful than sending an email to everybody, and especially I think those can get lost when a little bit of time has passed. So I think this is the better way to do that. Right now, Discord names, I think are basically, you can set whatever you want to. I don't want to change that from being the rule, but I am asking that everyone do change their name to at least include their actual name, or the name people know them by. The name that you use when you're standing in a room with other people, and their department in their username. So it can be just JC-Chairman, or it can be something like Gemniant, which I don't think anybody here knows me as that, but that is what I use on some places online, and then in parentheses, JC-Chairman. So either version of that you want, because I know some people do have, internet names that people know. So if you want that, that's fine, as long as your more common name and something that people could figure out if they don't know you personally. Oh, that's Niketa in the deputy chair. As long as you can be identified, cool.
Who is Waffle Swirl? Who is Waffle Swirl?
I have no idea.
That's why we need a name.
Exactly. I think I covered everything in my notes, but I'm checking before I move on. I already talked about home departments, so I'm moving on. All right, the global calendar. I'm so excited about this.
Me too.
So this is something I thought of 2 years ago, but was not able to implement, and now I am because I'm the chairman. So, again, I said one of my big goals here is to be more open and consult with department heads and other stakeholders before we make decisions that affect all staff for the direction of the con as a whole. So this is going to be a really good way to make sure that people know when they need to speak up, because they need to know what we're talking about and what we're thinking about. So departments can list their internal deadlines and anything where they need information from other departments to say, hey, this thing's coming up, we need to hear from you on X, Y, or Z. It's kind of hard to talk about in the abstract, so give me a minute. But anything that sort of has an end point and you need input from someone else, you put here. The chair team will also post when we're about to decide room sets for the entire convention for the entire year. That's kind of a big deal. You should all know when we're going to do that. This will be on the calendar. When we're going to put out final budgets, this will be on the calendar. You'll know when that's coming, and we'll do it when we say we will. So that is what this is for. So let me actually show you what this thing looks like. It is... Yes. It is sparse right now because I just put one example thing, and I have it zoomed in, so hopefully you guys can see this a little bit. So it's a non-traditional calendar, doesn't look like a calendar, but you just kind of put the date here of a deadline. What's that?
I'm just, in order for people to see it, I'm going to have to turn the lights off real quick.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Because it's really hard to see that.
Better?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. I will put out, well, actually, never mind. Talk about that in a minute. So there's a column here for date, very simple. A column here for what department is asking for this, or the chair team. And then, what the heck are you asking for? Now, you might think this is a really small place to list what you're asking for. This is a very small blank. But it's not a blank at all. It is a link. So you can click here and see a preview on the same screen if you want to. This is the deadline for all events in main stage, a panel room, or a dedicated room, all the things that programming does. So here's the information that programming needs from you. They need the room you want. They need the time that this is going to run. They need scheduling information like a title, a description, who the panelists are, what the audience is for this as far as age rating. You don't need to understand all of this. This is just an example. The point is, when you click on the activity, you can see... Uh-oh. When you click on an activity, you can see all the details of what information is actually being sought. It's all right here in this document. If there's any additional information, considerations, and then probably the most important thing too, contact. I want contact information at the bottom of all of these. So if you read this and you're still not sure what you need to do, you'll have the names of whoever is running this thing, and you need to get a hold of them. So this one has Jesse Silver in programming, and it also has the AD_prog, the listserv for the programming department. So the reason that this is so cool is because these are all Google Forms. These are all Google Docs, Google Sheets, etc. So it's really easy to make one. What's that? Yeah. It's really easy to make a new doc, give it a reasonable title, get the link for it when you hit share, and then just drop the link right in the spreadsheet. And the last piece of what all this is to the right of this is then mark who you need to hear from. So all of the departments are up at the top level here. If you're orange, then that means you might. It's possible that you need to care about this. So right now, the all column, everybody on staff, do you have an event that needs to be somewhere in programming space? Maybe. So that's an orange box. And then the chair team tends to run programming. So we have a red box. That is you are expected to send information about this to programming by January 15th. Blue is the programming department itself, since they're the ones asking for information. Also, if you don't know what the programming department is, that's this guy up here. Also, a lovely little descriptor of what the programming department is and who they tend to talk to. Again, I'm not going to read through it. You can see this for yourself. Yeah?
Do you plan on reaching out to the
Yes, I have not written them for anybody but programming. I did that because that's my old department. Sorry, yes. Yeah, Tabby asked if I plan to consult with department heads before creating these documents that just define the department itself. The answer is yes, very much so. The only one that I built already was programming because that's my old department, so I could do that. Yeah.
Will there be standardization expectations put forward?
There will. That does not exist right now, but I will create also a couple of guides for how to make these in a reasonable way. It's the kind of thing that it's all going to be fluid. Sorry. Are there, the question was, are there guides for how to create these documents in a standardized way?
Expectation. And I use that word very specifically.
Sure.
One of the issues we talk about is communication, but expectation is also a struggle. If you don't put those standardizations in place as an expectation, people will not follow them.
Okay. The clarification was that the word I should be using is expectations, in addition to standardization. And yes, I will create documents that do go through the expectations for what all of these look like. And I'm saying as well, this is a fluid thing. I want lots of different people creating these, so there will need to be some babysitting on this. Again, this is my brainchild. This is my baby. So I will be talking to people and, making adjustments as we go. It is something that we'll have to work out. But I am very hopeful. And so yeah, as you go through as well, guests is a red box because guests always has guest panels, so they need to get that information across. Cosplay has their own cosplay guest panels. And then several others are also orange and red boxes. The main reason why this will be cool when there's more than one entry is because you'll be able to go in. This can easily be sorted by date. It will typically be maintained by dates upcoming, and you can just look. Oh, hey, I'm in Ops. What do I have coming up? I see a bunch of white. Fantastic. I'm not missing anything. Or you go in and you see 9 red boxes coming up and you go, oh shoot, okay, do I actually know how to handle all of those things? Are we ready to do that? Yeah.
Can we alphabetize the columns, please? I can do it later.
You can. I did actually think about the order they're in this is my estimated how often I think you're gonna be a red box. I'm probably wrong. but yeah, that is the idea. Hopefully the abbreviations make sense. And yeah, if you want to see, this is very easy to create new things. Does anyone want to throw one out and try to create one right here, right now?
I think in this situation, as there's probably more information to go through, it might be a better idea for later on, once more people on board.
Yeah.
That's probably
So
fair.
if we have a training format,
Okay.
to go through all of that.
All right. The suggestion was hold my horses. Be a little less excited about this. Wait till.
I just want most people to love it too.
But yeah, do a more formal training on this later. That probably is a very good idea. So I think I will take that suggestion and not freak anybody out too quickly. But very quickly, just as I was saying, that it's very easy to create a document and make it a link. When you look in here in your drive, you just click share, copy link. That's all you got to do. And then you can go, whoop, I don't need to open it again. But you can go right back in the global calendar and you just hit paste. There it is. Right click on that. Whoop, sorry, don't right click on that. Click on that and then hit edit link and give it a name that makes sense. Like test link. That's what people will see, but it will still go to the document that it goes to. So it is pretty easy, but yes, we can do a proper training on this a little bit later. Back to our regularly scheduled PowerPoint. Yeah, this is already available to the department heads. If you log into your AD email, assuming that you have one as a department head, you should have access to a shared drive called All Staff. This will be available to all staff. I don't want to hide this. I want everybody using this. So right now, it doesn't have anybody but department heads. However, we are about to, / just did, open EventMe up for 2025. Once you go through and do your staff application, we will get you added to the list to access this. As far as Eventney, a couple of things on that. Like I said, have not been super happy with it in the past. But I do think it's useful. We do need something to be helping us out with many of these things. It's far less expensive than I thought it was. So for the time being, we are going forward in 2025 with Eventney. I will continue to monitor it. The chair team will continue to look at it and discuss future plans. So if you have strong feelings, positive or negative, I don't need them right now, but do express them at some point as we start to look at what to do in the future. But 2025 will most certainly be on Eventney. There is no way to port people over from 2024 to 2025 to just move everybody on staff over. I wish there was. We asked the question specifically to our rep and they said no. So, sorry, you will all have to reapply.
There was some fancy specific reason from Eventney's end why they don't want to do that, so
Yeah.
there's some technical reason behind it. It's not worth getting into.
No, but I do think we simplified the form. We got rid of the second one for department heads versus staff, so there's just one, fill it out, and we will send out the link with that after this meeting. Besides that, questionnaires, another QR code. Everyone loves QR codes. One of the other things that I want to do as chairman is have more things where I get feedback from staff generally. So I do want to do from time to time questionnaires about issues that concern all of us. So this is the first one that I've already created. This one specifically is about staff housing, the free hotel rooms. That is a benefit we started offering 2 years ago. Some people have taken advantage of it and I think like it a lot. But quite a lot of people haven't. And so I want to know, why did people do it? How did it work out if they did it? And why did people not do it? Who didn't? So that's what this questionnaire concerns. They are all optional. You're never going to be required to fill these out, but it will help me understand what direction to go in. So if you would like to, you may.
I'm not sure if we should be concerned that every single person in this room just pulled out their phone.
I am not concerned. I am encouraged. And yes, some of these will come up at staff meetings. I expect, when they're mine, I will probably save them for that most of the time, but they may also come out via email if it's something we need a quicker response on for some reason. So be on the lookout. Yeah.
Should we send that via email too? Just
We should. I figured I'm going to drop this whole presentation.
oh,
So, yeah. Give that a day or two. I want to, do a couple of edits, remove my notes before I send it out to everybody, but I will send it out to everybody. And then step up. So this is the part of the presentation I am wrapping up, where I do encourage everybody to take on more if they can, I don't want to say want to, if they can. We do have quite a few open leadership positions. We did get some help from the board remaking our organization chart page. It is now gorgeous. So I don't know how to get there navigating on the website, which is why I have the URL. It's kind of ugly. Yeah.
I can show you if you want to bring it up.
Yeah, we'll do that in just a minute. But if you do want to copy that down, it is at least fairly friendly. Just animedetour.com/get-involved/organization-chart. We'll get you there. It does list all of the open positions. We are closing some of them on July 21st, not all. We kind of talked about there's enough here, it makes sense to do it in waves, but we do have a few marked for closing sooner rather than later. Excuse me. That's in just about 3 weeks. So that is the vice chairs. Obviously, Niketa and I are lonely. We don't want to be the only ones this whole cycle. So if you are at all interested in joining the chair team, please do put an application in for that. And currently our other sort of priority spots to fill are guest relations, social media, staffing. We already discussed the staffing team. Themes, that is the programming book as well as the art that we use on quite a lot of things. So we want to make sure we're starting to get that 2025 art together because there's a ton of places that it gets used. Volunteer Con Suite is what VolCon is, and then volunteers, separately, the department that actually manages attendees who want to help us out at the con. The link for all of these did go out 2 days ago, so you should have an email as well from Christina, I think, that also does have this URL, the Get Involved /organization chart, so you should have a means to get there even if you have trouble typing this all in. And we are open. It's a general form. You just say which role that you're applying for in the form. Sorry.
By all means, if you're even slightly interested in one of these, just apply for it. Sometimes you're going to apply for something you might not get it, but we might think you're going to be a better fit at another role. And the Lord knows that's happened to me a few times here. So yeah, there's never any harm in trying to apply for one of these roles. By all means, take a shot if you want to.
And sorry, the sentence I was trying to finish, and then I'll get this question, was if we do get applications for some of the roles that are not on this list, but that are also open and available, we will set closing dates once we have an applicant or two. So that's how that works for the ones that we're not already setting the July 21st date. Yeah, what was the question?
I was just going to make the statement of I've looked at the application, and if you're not sure if it's the best fit, or you're interested in potentially like co-chairing with somebody, or department heading that way, they have a great thing, additional comments at the bottom where you can put that information in if you'd like.
That's how Gus and I ended up being co-chairs.
So that they're aware of that need from you.
I'll try to summarize that. There is in the form I think the final big paragraph is just additional comments. So if you have if you have concerns, if you're applying and you're like, I don't know if I really want to do this, maybe I want to co-chair or something like that, or whatever all the thoughts you have, there is just an open-ended sort of point of discussion. So please do feel free to be aggressive in the applications you fill out and just put your concerns there, and we'll sort it out from there. Also, do feel free to apply for multiple things, especially if it's, vice chair and a department head, and you're like, I don't know, I would do either of those. Cool, apply to both, and we'll figure it out when we get to the interview stage.
Apply early, apply often.
I did want to make one other thing that I don't know that this has ever been a thing before, but I think it should be. If you are in a department and you're not wanting to be the head, but you do have thoughts about who should be the head, who shouldn't be the head, or what kind of person should or shouldn't be the head. So it can be specific, it can be general, either way is fine. Just email that to chairman at animedetour.com, or me personally, whatever you're more comfortable doing. I very much value the comments of the people who are currently in the department. If several members of staff email me and are like, hey, we really like this person, we hope they apply, or we know they are applying, please choose them, that will weigh heavily. I never want to say, a guarantee or anything, but I will take that very seriously. And there's a real good chance that if a department as currently composed says this is who we want, that's probably who it's going to be. So cards on the table. I like to promote from within, so yeah, do let me know. And there are my email, Niketa's email, and then the chairman at animedetour.com email. Again, this is a listserv. I meant to mention this somewhere else, and I didn't. But this is a listserv. So the chairman at animedetour.com will always go to me, Niketa, the deputy chair, and all vice chairs. So you don't have to worry that it's going to fall through the cracks. Somebody will certainly see it, and we will discuss it. Again, you can email us individually if you want, but I think my practice the last year was typically just to do the whole chairman team whenever I felt like it, but your mileage may vary. So thank you all for being here.
We
Chris,
have a couple questions
Okay.
in the chat.
let's do that then.
There was one asking about, will there be a cap put on tickets? There were so many people last year that it created accessibility issues and hazards in areas such as room parties.
Okay. Yeah. So the question, I don't know if you came through or not, but I'll recap anyway. The question was, is there going to be a cap on tickets? There were concerns about overcrowding last year. I think the comment mentioned room parties. I think some other people have mentioned during registration when there were long lines. I do have some hopes that we can eliminate some of that crowding just through being, through better preparation, I'll say. At least as to the registration. The room parties is a tough one. We're never going to have the DoubleTree and that amazing setup back again. That's a dream, and it's unfortunate that we were all spoiled. The room party situation is we're kind of stuck with what we've got. That is actually one of the things that Niketa and I and the board have all been looking at in the last couple of weeks. We've been looking at additional possible space at other local hotels or convention center. I don't want to say too much about that right now because contracts are not signed, but we are very much going to see if a little bit more space is possible this year. I'm optimistic that it is. Again, not for room parties, but for most other purposes. I'm optimistic that we are going to have a little bit more. So at this point, I would say I don't anticipate a cap on attendance, but it is not something that
Yeah,
we would need to do quite yet. So
It's
so
something
I
we'll
would
always
it in
keep
mind.
an eye on, yeah.
Yeah.
If we get 10,000 pre-regs, suddenly we're going to cut it off, probably.
Yeah, I think that's probably reasonable. Actually, setting kind of a
Speak things into existence.
Do not manifest this, please.
we might set a absurdly high cap for pre-reg and expect not to hit it, but yeah, something like that I think is probably the answer to that for now.
Was there another one there too, Hope?
I don't
or-
know. Hope ran away. Do we have any other questions from
Yeah,
chat?
so there was another one that was wondering why, what did it say? Why not list all the departments that have open head/no staff left? I know that they are listed, they're on the website, they're not necessarily on the,
They don't all have a deadline on them.
Right.
They are all listed. It's just we didn't have the closing deadline on the ones that weren't quite as
Yeah.
urgent that we get somebody into them, I want to say.
In fact, Christina, do you want to come up and show us how to get to the org chart right now so we can look at them?
yeah.
Yes. Yes, I do. No. We have a website?
Right?
I theoretically have library internet. We'll see.
It's a little slow, but it's there.
Okay.
I can find my first ticket, just waiting for the internet to load.
Just need to download more RAM and make it faster.
I could do my ATC announcements while we're waiting.
Yeah, you can do that.
Well, do we
I
have
don't know
more
if this is gonna
But
questions?
I suppose,
Yeah.
well, actually, let's finish answering that question too. So the question was about, why not list all open positions, and they are all listed. You can apply for any of the open positions right now. If we can get this organization chart page to load, you will be able to see they are all listed with if they have a current head, who the head is, or as open, and they are all selectable. So you can apply for any of them right now. Like I said, we're simply holding off on setting a closing date for them until we have an applicant or two.
Oh my god, is anybody
Yeah, it could be my computer too. This laptop
Did
is
it get
trying to die.
Yeah, 'cause it doesn't look like it's trying to load anything right now.
borrow my hotspot internet, maybe?
I mean, I've got hotspot too.
What am I know how to internet.
No, it says connected.
It says connected and open. And like this worked.
Yeah.
Let me see. Do I have the old email from? Yes. Let's see if the link wants to work better. So this is the email from the 28th that you all got with this lovely graphic.
And the link should be out on the Facebook and Discord page too.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, that's trying to load. Were there any other questions from the chat before we get to the ATC announcements?
There's a follow-up in regards to the open, just asking how the mass amount of people is gonna be dealt with and how people are gonna be convinced to come back. I suppose we've sort of already covered that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was asked.
Okay. Yeah, I think just general questions about, a question about sort of, we have a lot of open positions. That's true. We also have a lot of staff. I think, I talked about already a little bit of having your home department, but maybe helping out with other departments where you can. I believe very strongly in the ability for one determined staff member to act like about 14 human beings. I've seen it many times before. And we have 9 months until the convention. We are going to get this done. We are going to put on a great show. I'm very confident that we have the people we need.
And I mean, the conventions function with open heads many open heads in the past. It's nothing new for us to have 4, 5, or 6 open heads at the same time.
I do actually want to say as well, to that end, please tell your friends, right? We're going to be doing what we always do. We're going to be trying to recruit, do staff exchanges, all this kind of thing at other conventions. Our ambassador team's going to get up and running. But also, the door is open. If you have been a staffer for Anime Detour in the past and you left years ago, you left recently, whatever, the door is open. If you feel like you need to talk to me personally and get me without my chairman hat on and talk about my own experiences, I will do that. I will sit down. I will tell you from my own perspective what I've seen and heard. And so if anybody wants to do that, again, my door is open, and generally speaking, the convention's door is open. If you're here to work, we want you.
Just as general to that, same thing with me. If you have any questions about anything, whether it's about coming back as staff or why either me or JC are doing something, by all means reach out to one of us. We'd love to explain it to you. It's better that you know why we make the decisions we do than just guessing at it. Because if we can't explain our decisions to you, we've done something wrong.
Oh, hey, we have a page.
We have internet. Okay.
So I don't know how well this is coming through on the screen within the screen, but
There we go.
yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
All right, so to find this lovely page, it is buried a little bit, but if you go to About Us and then Convention Information and then Anime Detour Staff underneath Get Involved, and that takes you to this lovely org chart page.
Okay. And in case this raises a question, yes, we are going to take a look at the website.
Yes, we're working on it. And there's a link to apply. It's a Google form.
Yes.
We all love Google Forms.
And yeah, in fact, I don't think it's even terrible to show this off a little bit. So the application, like I said, it's one application for all positions, so you just grab which one you're looking for from this drop down here. So, IT director. I should not be the IT director. Yeah. And yeah, in case it wasn't obvious, on the right side of this page, the head, like I said, is either listed or stated as open for each position.
I'm not seeing any other questions.
All right, do you want to do ATC announcements?
Okay. So we just have a couple things coming up in August.
Also, who are you?
Hi, I'm Christina. I am the president of the Anime Twin Cities Board of Directors. I started in February. So basically, there are 2 events that Anime Twin Cities has sponsored next month. One of them is called ToshoCon. It's a small little one-day event at a library, generally targeted towards like teenagers and getting them into things. That's August 17th. I don't have the details on the location yet. I believe they're still picking which library they're going to hold it at, but it's through like the Friends of the St. Paul Public Libraries. And then the other one is August 18th, and probably a lot of you have heard of this one. It's the Obon Festival. It used to be called the Japanese Lantern Lighting Festival. So we will definitely have...
Technically, it still is.
Yeah. We will definitely have a table there. We'll be looking for some volunteers to help staff it throughout the day, so no one's stuck there from noon until 9. Who knows how hot it'll be. Yeah. So we will be sending out more
that one's at
information
Como,
about
right?
that. Yes, that's at Como Park. Yep. And that is the only thing I can think of for ATC right now.
All right. Then I think, unless there's anything else, we can wrap up at least the official meeting. Of course, there's always the meeting after the meeting. We do have a couple questions, but hold on. We always have the meeting after the meeting, which is why it's good to be in person if you can.
Yeah.
That'll be my last tease before last questions.
I was just gonna say for ATC, there are also ATC coordinator positions open if you're interested, so check
Yes.
their website out. I didn't want them to be forgotten as well.
Yes, an announcement that just came. There are also ATC specific positions that are open, including the special events coordinator. All right. Fine. I'll let the person who cares about it.
Right. I would love to fill the special events coordinator role. I don't mind planning all of the things, but I don't like traveling, and that's what the special events coordinator has to do. Basically, they're the ones that it's kind of like what Buttons used to be doing. It's you go to the different conventions, you run the ambassador table, but it's also being wrapped up in the ATC things where We go to the Oban Festival. We go to this ToshoCon. We want to probably try to get back into Pride again. I know we used to do that. We didn't have time to figure that out for this year, but for next year, I would love to do that. So that is what that special events coordinator role does. There's a whole description on animetwincities.org that you can see. So please apply for that.
All right. Was there another question? Yes.
I received none of your emails. I do not have the password for being a veteran at Anime Twin Cities.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
Oh.
Anime Detour. So
Yeah.
do I contact ATC at Anime Detour to get a password?
I think, sorry, the question is, having difficulty getting into your animedetour.com email. You are not alone in that. I know there's a couple people. So yes, please use a different email to email atcboard@animedetour.com and explain the difficulties you're having. There may not be a very quick solution. Again, we're kind of doing this ad hoc, but we will do the best we can.
And if you weren't on staff within like the last year or so, you might have to just get back in the Eventi staff just to get back on that proper staff list to get the emails until the Detour email is set up.
All right.
I don't see any more.
Seeing no other names, we can take the thing down, but it is the end of Pride, so trans rights are human rights. And we can close.